Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Solid Blue Sister, and today is May 12th, 2026. I am Solid Blue Sister, and welcome to My Turn to Talk. So, guys, today we are going to talk about family betrayal. Is it family betrayal? Basically, um, how family can hold you back, and is it betrayal when you leave? So, um, this is a topic that, again, a lot of my topics are topics that I have had conversations with people over the years, recently, a couple months ago, whatever. But these are things that are talked about. These are things that we talk about as a society, kitchen table talk with your friends, um, even with your family. You know how family can hold you back. And people who are on Podbean, feel free to join us over on YouTube. Solid Blue Sister, My Turn to Talk. Um, is it betrayal when you leave? Can family stifle your your uh, uh, your individual dreams? Can they you know keep you from your potential? What do I mean by that? You have some families who, in some cultures, do not allow um, a child to get married unless they do it in order. The oldest gets married first, all the way down to the youngest. And in some cultures, the youngest cannot get married, especially if they're female, because they're supposed to stay home and take care of the parents. That's their duty. So what happens if that youngest falls in love? They found the man or a woman that they want to marry, but family obligations tell them that they can't. What about those parents who are so clingy with their children that they don't want their children to fly? They don't want their children to soar. They don't want their children to uh, leave the nest. You know, you have people who hold on so tight to their children that when you look back at that child's life, their child has been controlled by their parents. Especially when boyfriends and girlfriends are involved. They go to school, they go to high school. All of a sudden, a boy catches their eye, a girl catches their eye. They like them. They want to date. Somewhere along the way, that relationship gets sabotaged. Mom can't stand to see her, little boy with this woman. A father may think that no man will be ever good enough for their daughter. And the only way that, you can get that relationship is if you leave. The only way you can, start working on your own bucket list is if you leave. Some parents don't want their children to go away to school. When I, go away to school, meaning university. Good morning, Tiffany and Anthony and Sunny. Welcome. They don't want them to leave. And if they do go to school, they want them to stay local, live at home. But part of the school experience is going away to school, staying in the dorms. For some people, it's their way of getting that independence, learning how to be on your own. They don't want you to buy a house. You're 35 years old, you're still living home with your parents. They don't want you to buy a house. They don't want you to live in your own apartment. They want you to stay at home. Then you have the sibling, the rivalry, excuse me, among siblings, where one sibling may think that it's competition, especially if you're the youngest and they're the oldest. If you're more successful. Or maybe it could be the other way around. Maybe the youngest is the golden child. And they got all the attention and opportunities in the household. But you're still expected to, stay home and support the family. Is it betrayal when you leave? Is it betrayal when you tell people your family that you're leaving? I mean, I left. I moved across country, but I had already been out the house for quite some time when I left. I had my own apartment. In fact, I had 2 apartments before I left. And my parents encouraged it. And over the years, and I still hear it, some people say, I couldn't have left home like that. I couldn't have moved so far away. But I've always wanted to live in California. When I was little, we have family in California, or had. A lot of people have moved all over the country. But I've always liked the state. I come from the Midwest. I come from a cold climate. I didn't want to live in a cold climate. I wanted to live where it was warm. That was one of my main motivators for moving. I wanted a climate that was pretty much year-round warm. Some people say, how could you leave your parents? Go back to visit. But it's interesting because a lot of people who told me that they could never go so far away and leave their family, leave their parents, they don't even talk to their parents anymore. They don't really have a relationship with their families. So what's the difference for moving all the way across country and you're still talking to them, or some people may not, or you're in the same city? Some people live on the same block as their families. That's fine. But is it betrayal when you get up and leave? You know, is it betrayal when you decide to go your own way, to follow your own dreams? And no matter if you're at home or you're across the country or you're across the ocean, you're going to make missteps along the way. Everything's not going to be perfect if you stay home. Well, if you stay home, you'll have the support of your family. But you also make friends. And a lot of friends become your family. But we're all human. We're supposed to make mistakes. So again, I say, is it betrayal to leave? You know, because some excuse me, some people, they can't handle it. And when they say family can hold you back, they say it's through crab bucket mentality, where they sabotage your success or growth to keep you at their level, often out of jealousy, fear, or a desire to maintain the status quo. Maintain the status quo. The status quo being, this is not normal. This is not what you're supposed to do. In our family, we do this. Or what if your family has this family business? It's been in your family for generations. Your great 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 grandfather started it. And everybody's supposed to grow up to join the family business. What if you don't want to join the family business? What if the family business is retail or construction and you want to be a doctor? What if the family business is being a doctor? You want to be a dentist. You want to be a lawyer. You want to go start your own app. You want to open up a craft store. And every time you go home to those family dinners or, you know, whatever, people make a comment about, oh, just, you know, why aren't you doing this? You should be doing this. Until one day you stop showing up. What happens if, you know, you are come from a military family? Everybody in your family, including the women, have joined up in some way. But you, I don't want to join the military. Or maybe everybody joins the army, you join the Air Force. Everybody's in the Air Force, you join the Navy. Some people see that as betrayal. And that's sad. Because everyone has their own bucket list. Everyone has their own desire to do what they want to do. Everyone makes their own choices. Even children have choices. Your kid may not want to play football. He may not be in the sports. My son isn't in the sports. He's in the art. Always has been. Yeah, he did the soccer thing. He did the little league and all that. But we were like, he doesn't like sports. He likes to draw. I asked my husband a couple of years ago, I said, are you, kind of sad that our son didn't, he's not all into sports and sitting there watching the football game with you and everything? He's like, nope, that's not what he wanted to do. But you have some parents, some men who really, I want that son because we're going to throw the football around. My son never threw the football around. Or that daughter who's going to be so girly, but they turn out to be a tomboy. They turn out to be the ones who want to throw the football around. They turn out to be the ones who want to work on car engines. And they're good at it. But they are going against the status quo. That's not what you are supposed to do. Girls don't play football. Girls don't play basketball. Girls don't work in auto shops. They're not plumbers. What's wrong with you? And one day, the people who you say are not part of the status quo, like I said, they stop showing up for family events. It happens. Excuse me. So, there's toxic control and manipulation. Some families try to manipulate you. They want to gaslight you. They want to make you feel guilty for leaving. You literally have people who you look at them and they're 60 years old, still living at home with their parents because they never left, or they were guilted or manipulated into coming back to be the dutiful child. And one day those people wake up after their parents are gone and the life that they wanted has passed by. The person who asked them to marry them has married someone else, moved on, had a family. That job offer, that was the opportunity once in a lifetime that you passed up because your family wanted you to stay close. Your family said that you should be a good daughter, be a good son, be a good child, take care of your family, stay home, stay close. Your family needs you. Family is family. At the end, it's all about family. you know, um, you know, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you'll have your family. But a lot of times that family isn't there. A lot of times when you have that one sibling or that one person in the family that sacrifices, and one day they reach out and they ask for help, all the rest of the family, they scatter. They're gone. Well, my daughter has to do this. My son has to do this. Oh, well, my husband wants me at home, or well, my wife, whatever, or my job, I don't have time. But you're supposed to make the time. You're supposed to make the time for your family. And yes, Tiffany, family is stifling. They can be very stifling. Meanwhile, you have your friends going, what's up with your family? Oh, well, they're my family. They're my mom. They're my dad. I can't. Why can't you? There are some family members who know that their life is being sabotaged. And, some people count the days until they're 18 years old where they can leave and get out. Some people are manipulated by money. If you leave, we won't help you. You'll have no financial support. We won't pay for college. So you have to get loans, work 2 jobs to pay your tuition, but you finish, you succeed, you graduate. Some kids may not want to go to college, which is fine. They just want to leave that toxic environment that they know is toxic, that they know that if they stay, they won't go anywhere. You have parents who, when their children are, 16, 17, and they get jobs, they purposely have turn their paychecks over. We'll watch your money, or just turn it over where they won't have anything, where they can't leave. But you can leave. It'll be extremely hard, but you can leave. Some kids couch surf. Can I stay on your sofa? They find a way to leave because they know that they're being sabotaged. When you have people or families who purposely want to sabotage you to keep you in line, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. You know, and unfortunately, you have a lot of people who cannot deal. Hey, Blunt, welcome. You have a lot of people who cannot deal with the emotional um, um, how do I want to say it? You have people who cannot deal with the emotional push, even though that's not the word I want to use. They can't deal with the emotional manipulation of wanting to control them. They can't, they don't know how to push back, or they're afraid to push back. They don't want to have the anger of their parents or the rest of their family. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't stay and help your family, of course. But that family should also not stop you from doing what you want to do. You have a life to live. And like I said, you have some cultures who do the step culture. The oldest gets married first. If the middle child wants to get married, they can't, because the oldest child hasn't gotten married. What if the oldest child never gets married? What if that oldest daughter never finds someone who asks her? What do you do? What do you do when you have arranged marriages? You know, where they want you to marry this nice boy, marry this nice girl, where you have families who have arranged your marriage since you were 2. That is still going on. That is still going on. You have cultures where honor killings are still going on because the girl is dating someone outside of their culture, their heritage, their race, their religion. And you literally have brothers and fathers who will kill their sister and daughter to save the honor of the family. You betrayed the family. How could you? You're not leaving. They'd rather kill you than to see you happy. That's concerning. It's drastic. But at the same time, in American society, we may not do the honor killings, but we do the emotional manipulation. We do the toxic sabotage. We gaslight. Well, if you do that, how's it going to look on the family? The family name is important. You have that family who, has that interracial marriage. Oh my God. They married outside of their race. You can't come to family dinner anymore. What will the neighbors think? How could you? And Tiffany says, my parents use emotional manipulation on me. You know, again, my question is it betrayal when you leave? Is it betrayal when you leave? Is it betrayal when you move in with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your friend from college, or your friend that you grew up with, because you just have to get out of that house because that house is so and Blunt says on Podbean, it's tragic when family does that. Um, you have to live your life. Yes, you do have to live your life. But unfortunately, you have a lot of people who don't know how to live their life because they have lived under the pressure of their family for so long. And I'm talking about this psychological manipulation started when you were born. You know, you're 5 years old. Mommy, I want to wear that dress. Mommy, I want to wear that outfit. Oh no, you should wear this. You should, it's little things that control. And unfortunately, when you're a child, you're helpless. But then when you become a teenager, you're still technically under the thumb or the rule or the, designation of your parents, but you have more control. And hold on, let me put this up here. Max 16X says, yet I have always been happier, more financially stable, and mentally balanced when not around the family. And think about it. Think about it. A lot of people are more happily and financially stable because family is the one that you have to watch out for when it comes to asking for money. Family is the one that you have to watch out for. They're always laying their problems onto you, especially if you're deemed the responsible one. I go back and I think about MC Hammer. He went bankrupt, and he was very open about the things that he did wrong when he made his money. And a lot of it had to do with family. A lot of it had to do with family. Trying to think of this comic's name. Oh, I can't think of his name right now, but he was on Oprah. It's somebody that you all know. I see his face. I can't think of his name, but he was on Oprah, and his siblings were on Oprah, sitting in the front row. Oh, let me. I'm sorry, guys. I have to Google really quick. Oh boy. Not Howie Mandel. Wait, was it? No, no, it wasn't Howie Mandel. I'm trying to think of. Anyway, I just remember the audacity of his siblings, and he was saying how he wanted to get away from his siblings because they were draining him. That and this man at the time of his peak, he was making millions. It's killing me that I can't remember who this man. I see his face, like I said. Heavyset white guy. He was on a game show as a host. Can't anyway. But he was a comedian, and at the top of he was really really no not Drew Carey. Wait, was it? Hold on, let me. I'm saying Howie, and Blunt's telling me Drew Carey. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Drew Carey. I want to say his name was Howie something. But anyway, he was saying that his family was just draining him, was just bringing him down. And Oprah looked at his brother and sister in the front row and said, well, how do you think about that? And they said, well, he has money. He should be able to, buy us cars and houses and everything. They were not, they had no shame at all. They had none. They had no shame whatsoever. They did not care. They did not care. They could care less. They could care less. And Oprah just kind of looked at him. And this comedian, he said, this is what I mean. He said, they never say thank you. He said, my nieces and nephews, you know, will call me on their birthday. Will call me on their birthday asking how come they didn't, get a gift, or when are you going to give me this, or I wanted this instead of this. And he said, so he just totally stopped. He said when he stopped, his whole family went ballistic, and his siblings were sitting there in the front row saying, how could you do that to us? And he said that they stopped working, that when he started really making money, his family, the majority of his family, stopped working. And he comes from, I think he has like six siblings. That even his parents, that when he was trying to help them out, everybody just got greedy. So he stopped. He walked away. And they tried to follow him. What do you do? Is it your betrayal, or is it their betrayal? Is it their betrayal because of how they're treating you? You have people who go off and buy homes. All of a sudden, somebody wants to move in. Just until I get back on my feet. 7 years later, they're still getting back on their feet, playing video games all day, not contributing at all. True story. I know of someone, don't know them personally, but I know of them, and I know this really happened. They had moved into a house, and all of a sudden the whole family just decides to show up. Before, they were all going over, they were all at their parents' house, but they all say, oh, well, you have room. And he couldn't get them out. So he stopped paying the bills, literally. Electricity went out, the water. When are you going to pay the bill? I don't have any money. The heat. Literally, he's sitting in his house with no utilities. And one by one, they left. It got to be that drastic. He got his house together, fixed it up, turned on all the utilities, and sold the house. And he left the state. Who was betrayed there? I'm trying to better myself, and you leeches are coming on behind me? Come on. Blunt says, happened to me with my cousin. I helped him, and he stayed for 4 years, no rent, and just wasting his money. I mean, and Blunt, we talked about this, but, but at what point do you have to put your foot down? At what point do you have to, go scorched earth? because people who do that, they're interfering with your life. They're interfering with the things that you want to do, with the things that you want to do to move forward, with your bucket list, the bucket list that you have. And I can't complete my bucket list if you're in my house. I can't, complete my bucket list if you're always standing in front of me. Because when you continually um, uh, prevent someone from achieving their goals and their dreams, when they do achieve them, they're going to leave you behind because you've already proven how you are. You've already proven that you're an albatross around someone's neck. And even if they wanted to help you, they would have helped you previously. They're not going to help you in the present because of what you did in the past. You prevented me from doing something I really wanted to do. Why should I help you now? That relationship that you sabotage because you didn't think that that person was good enough for me, or you were afraid that I would leave home. And a lot of, again, a lot of people, like they say, um, the crab bucket mentality. Similar to crabs in a bucket, family members may pull you down when you try to succeed or escape their situation, often due to their own insecurities or jealousies. Escape. I mean, think about that. Escape. You're trying to escape your family. Some people have to escape their children. I worked with someone years ago, when I worked at an insurance company. They moved from Indiana to California to get away from their kids. Their kids moved with them. They found them. They followed them. Then they moved from California to Texas. The kids, they packed up and they moved to Texas. I don't know what happened next. But at what point do you become independent? I mean, and as a parent, if you know that your child is being stifled, if you know that your child is unhappy because they're living with you, because they're taking care of you, because you keep calling them, can you come over and fix this, or can you pay for this, or can you do this, or I'm behind on my mortgage, or your brother has to pay his rent, or your sister's this, your sister's that. I mean, at what point do you as a parent look around and say, damn, I'm really screwing with my kid? Then you bring up that thing called boundaries. That thing called boundaries. Oh, the dreaded word. Oh boy. The dreaded word of boundaries. You bring up that word, you set boundaries. People don't care. So again, you have to go nuclear. You have to go scorched earth. All because you want to leave because your family is holding you back. And you know what's interesting is that some families can hold back another person in their family. But that person could have been the one who really truly wanted to help, really wanted to bring everybody up with them. but they sabotage. Or you have some parents who say, well, you can't go there if you don't take your brother and sister with you. And I'm not talking about siblings when you're young and you're going next door, you're going out to play ball or something like that. You have to take your little brother and sister with you. I'm talking about when you get older, your parents are like, you have to help them. They're your brother, they're your sister. You're successful now. Help your brother, help your sister. Your cousin needs a referral. Your cousin's a screw up. Your cousin can't hold a job. Your cousin has had 12 jobs in 6 months and got fired for every last one of them. But you want me to give them a referral? You want me to put my name on something behind them? Well, they're family. They're family. And when you don't, once again, it's that betrayal. It's that betrayal. Caleb says, no, don't say boundaries. It is that betrayal. But y'all, I'm gonna tell you, I learned how to say no a long time ago because me not saying no was exhausting, and I paid the price. And I learned early on that I'd rather have someone pissed off at me and not want to talk to me and say all things about me behind my back to family as opposed to saying yes. So if anybody wants to call in, the call-in line is open, 877-777-2005, 877-777-2005, if you would like to call in. Blunt says, I'm learning, I'm studying Solace how to say no, guy. I have gone scorched earth on a lot of people. I've gone scorched earth on family. There are family members who I won't let in my house. Family members who have called and say, hey, I'm coming out to visit. I'm like, where are you staying? Or I don't even say where are you staying. What I usually do is say, what hotel are you staying? There's that pause. Or, we just wanted to stop by and say hi. I'll meet you somewhere. Because I don't want them in my house. Because I have literally had people come over and 4 hours later they're still there and they don't get the hint that well, I got to go to work in the morning, or I got to do this, and they're just there. Years ago, I had a family member who wanted to come out and stay with me, and people in my family pretty much know now my rule is you don't stay with me. If I don't invite you, don't ask. And they were going to say, we're going to be out there for about a week. I'm like, well, when you go, oh, well, our flight leaves at such and such. Let me see the confirmation. Yeah, because they were they were those family members. The ones that once they got in, you weren't getting them out. And since California is so friendly to tenants, past that 30-day rule, no, I mean, I have literally had people who have said, I don't have anywhere to stay. Then don't come. You do have somewhere to stay. You have parents. You have siblings, but you burn your bridges everywhere where no one wants. People know you. People have the energy to say no. Have the energy to say, I'm leaving. Have the energy to say, I can't carry you. Family is family, but family is also toxic. Family can manipulate, family can sabotage, and family cannot have your best interests at heart because family can be extremely selfish. But don't get me wrong, you have some family out there that, you know, you're envious of how much they one says amen. You have family, uh, uh, where you're envious of how well they interact with each other. You know, but the toxic ones, and I say this to teenagers. If you are in a toxic situation with your family, have an exit strategy. Make sure you have all your documentation with you: birth certificate, social security card. Have an exit strategy. And there are some children who are playing their exit strategy when they're like 13 and 14 because they just can't take it at home, because they see the sabotage, they see the toxic mentality, they see their family wanting to have the status quo. If you don't want to join the family business and you want to, do something entirely different, do it. And yes, you have to be strong enough to where you're going to be able to walk away from your family, because some people have to do that. But guess what? There's a whole world out here. There's a whole lot of people to meet. And along the way, you're going to meet some really, really nice people. You're going to meet some people who you want to call friend. You're going to meet people who you're not going to want to be friends with. But don't let your family hold you back. Don't let your family manipulate you emotionally, financially. Don't let them manipulate you into staying someplace that you know that if you stay, you will never at least try to do some of the things that you want to do. I have fallen on my face many, many times, but I've gotten back up. It's not easy, being out there, out in the world. But sometimes it's not easy to be trapped. So it's not betrayal, because the only person you're betraying by not leaving is yourself. Life is short. It really is. As you get older, the days and years go by faster and faster. It's not like when you were 10 and you couldn't wait to be 13, a teenager. The years go by slow. As you get older, the years are zooming by. And it's never too late to try something new. This is something I firmly believe in. It's never too late. You're never too old. You're never too old to go back to school if that's what you want to do. It's never too old to try to start that business if that's what you want to do. It's never too old to take that trip around the world if you're saving your money to do so. It's never too late. You just have to have the strength to walk away, to walk toward what you want. I believe that 100%. 100%. You know, I truly, truly do. I truly do. So, everyone, thank you. My hour is almost up. My Turn to Talk is sponsored by Smooth California Skincare, smoothca.online, how skin should be. Oh, once again, Smooth California Skincare, smoothca.online, how skin should be. And also, coming soon to the YouTube channel, The House of Dread. The House of Dread with the one and only Dread Empath. She will be starting the House of Dread on the YouTube channel. That will be coming soon. Not sure of a start date, but I know she's working on it. So it is. And on Saturday, join me, Solid Blue Sister, and my co-host on Friendly Differences podcast on the YouTube channel, Friendly Differences podcast. Topics are a little different than what I have on My Turn to Talk, but co-host this week will be Kimberly Michael. So I'm looking forward to that. So everyone, until next time, and thank you for for coming up on Podbean. Podbean, as we know, they are shutting down their live shows on May the 18th. They've done so many things where you can't even get into the show anymore. So, but thank you, everyone. So until next time, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good week. Peace.